welcome, Brett. Are you ready or not yet?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Okay, okay.
I'm
So,
ready.
so, so welcome, Brett, to Metallic Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Astronoid, this new this new album, Radiant Bloom, and more things related to the metal world. Starting with the big question: How have you been during these crazy times? Because 2 years ago we started a crazy pandemic. Now war in Europe, and perhaps who knows the next couple of years, alien invasion, or perhaps a zombie apocalypse. Who knows what happens in the next couple of years because a really crazy world in these days.
I don't know. That's a very tough question. I can tell you, the album is sort of a glimpse into my mental state for at least the first couple of years. From 2019 to when it was done in early 20 or late 2020 or 2021, whatever it is. I don't even know, but it's crazy. I'm doing fine. I'm just living my life and hoping that it all doesn't blow up. So
Yeah. Okay, okay, okay. So you said that this album, this album was composed during the years to 2019 during 2000 to this year. So perhaps this pandemic accelerate the process of compositions and recording process because all the musicians now around the world have more time to record, to compose this kind of stuff.
yeah, it was sort of like I don't know if you are a Twilight Zone fan, but the guy who wishes he was alone to read his books and he breaks his glasses. That's kind of how I felt with this pandemic. Is I was just I had all this time to write, but I couldn't write anything good. Everything was just I felt like crap. And whenever I did send or whenever I did uh, get something going, it just someone in the band said it wasn't good or my manager didn't like it. So it was a weird process in having all that time.
Okay, okay. I've been reading into the biography that Radiant Bloom is licensed from 3D Dot Recordings from outside of North America, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. So 4 countries into the recorded process of this new album. How this process came out?
So we've done some touring with Periphery, and they're great guys, and they're building a label, and our manager approached us with the idea of moving over there because Blood Music was closing down, and so we started conversations, and it felt like a natural fit of like they wanted to create something new, and we're a weird enough band where I feel like we can kind of plop anywhere, and we're not. I don't think we're the first band that you would associate with Periphery's record label, but I think that works for both of us. They're building an eclectic label, and we're a weird enough band to help launch that. We're not huge, but hopefully bring some new eyes on their label as well.
Okay, okay. So I've been hearing this new Radiant Bloom many times, and I seen one detail that you mix some with shoegaze, something progressive rock, a little metal into there. So, but sometimes for the reviewers and the fans, it's very difficult to label a band. Is the label a band with exact this Astronaut is progressive metal, progressive rock. So for you, for what is the exactly label that Astronaut has for this new Radiant Bloom?
Ugh, man, you're right. It is very tough because it's like I don't know. It's like metal shoegaze. Like I don't know. But it's weird because we have so many different elements, like you said. Like I'm pulling from so many different genres of music. Like I love dream pop and I love shoegaze and like the vocals are clearly pulled from there. But I was listening to a lot of Svalbard and Antichrist Demon Core and all of that stuff, and it all just sort of rolls into Astronoid, and that's kind of what you get. Like we once you listen to it, I think you'll get it. But describing it to somebody is very tough.
Yes, yes, yes. For the reviewers, will be too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So One question that I love to ask a bands like you, especially when you have a lot of textures, a lot of layers into your music, and relating with this Radio Bloom, perhaps do you hear about the synesthesia matter?
I'm sorry, the what?
The synesthesia.
Um, I'm
Okay,
sorry. Well,
if not, if you not can hear, if you don't hear it, it's very easy. Synesthesia matter is when a person, when he or she listen the music, they feel, they'll taste flavors, they smell odors,
oh, I
and
know
they
what you're
see,
talking about.
yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes.
they see colors. So if we try to relate this aspect or this matter with the radium balloon, how what kind of odors, smells, and colors that the listeners will find into this radio bloom.
Yeah, so I think the cover is the perfect example of that. When I was working with Travis Smith, we were going back and forth with color palettes only, and there's lots of pinks and like soft oranges and um, you know purples, and it I just those are the colors that like made me feel comfortable listening to it, and that I associated with that. And I think the cover, like he really nailed, what we were trying to get across visually. We took the concept from a song, Sleep Whisper, and then sort of went with the color palette, and there you go. That's how we got our cover. He's unbelievable. He does great work.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So in talking about the smell and others, because sometimes the musicians told me that this album is perhaps an a coffee in the morning, sometimes chocolate with milk in the morning, or all people say it has a little spicy
No, these
into
are
that sound.
this is being in a nice big open field with all these great smelling wildflowers and a nice blue sky, and the sun's out and you're just alone, and or with whoever you want to be. But in my head, I'm alone, and I'm just taking in the smell of being in this big field of nice orangey purple flowers, whatever that smells like. For a metal record, I guess that's a great
Okay,
great
okay,
explanation.
okay, okay. So, well, many artists has a preferred one in for the new record. Perhaps more dedication to record, or perhaps to compose, or to write the perhaps who what song is your favorite into this Radiant Bloom? Perhaps the song that have more anecdotes, more situations, more problems. Who knows?
I think I think the well, my favorite is probably the song Sedative. Um, it doesn't. I think it's everyone's favorite in the band because it's the fastest, and we haven't had a song with that kind of punk beat before, and that's a lot of fun. And we're gonna have a lot of fun playing that live. But the song that kind of had the most like tumultuous process was Human. Um, it was a very strange song. It sort of started like I was listening to a lot of Izan Telemark, his Telemark EP, and I was like, I want to write like my own Izan riff, and it that's what it is, whether it's an Izan riff or not. I think it is. But it just has a very strange process because we were recording it and it kind of felt weird, but it sounded good, and it kind of took us all out of our comfort zone of what we were doing. And it's the heaviest song on the record. It uses the seven string, all the way to the lowest register, and just does a lot of different things, even though it may not like sound like the heaviest at times. It was just a weird song to put together, and tempos shifting, and we there's a very slight tempo change mid song, and getting that right was like the key to the song. It was too fast or too slow. It needed to sound natural, and like it doesn't speed up, but it kind of does. So it was really interesting getting all that together from a technical standpoint of the writing.
Okay, okay. Well, talking about your discography, Air was released in 2016, and perhaps for many band, or perhaps for many fans, reviewers, listeners, well, a lot of people into there thinks that this new album is the greatest stone in for the career of Astronoid. But a counterproductive thing, the Radiant Bloom is or the last album is the best work until to date for the band. It's a counterproductive thing because the fans thinks that the first album is the first stone, then for the band, the last one is the best one. So for you, and perhaps you think like that because you have your own influence, your own favorite bands, and you think that the first two albums are the great albums for them from them. So for you, what do you think about this matter? Perhaps do you have a favorite one? Nor Air, nor Radio Blue, and perhaps Astronaut, the self-titled album is your best work until today. Who knows?
I I think all of our music is very circumstantial, and it comes from a time and a place, and what's happening in our lives, and how we recorded it, and our skill level at the time, and it's all just snapshots in our life as a band, and I can't really say that any of them are better. Like you're absolutely right. Like when you jump into a band's catalog, like you might gravitate toward a certain record that you hear first, and then your expectations are grown from that record. So if the second one doesn't meet that expectation, it's no better or worse. It's just that's your own expectations of the record. So I think the newest album, Radiant Bloom, is just a great mix of air and self-titled, and lessons learned from both, and what we liked and what we didn't like. And I just really like the flow of the new record. And I don't think it's our best, but not saying that any of it is better. I think it's our best work because we're artists, and we will always put out our best work. And I will never put out anything I think is subpar. So I just love these songs, and I think that they fit perfectly in with Astronoid's, discography. I think it's a perfect next chapter for the band.
Okay, okay, okay. I've been reading. Well, when I hear the first time Radiant Blood, I see first, as many listeners see that the names Ice, Sleep Whisper, Sedative, Orchid, Drown, Human Decades, and for me, for the peculiar thing, I try to relate with time because the lyrics perhaps talking about the time, but when I read the lyrics, when I read the lyrics, it's more experiential things, this kind of stuff around your world. So
Mhm.
relating the time aspect, where are you focus? How do you focus the main aspect in the whole album to say this album calls Radiant Bloom?
So the main title of the album was taken basically from the artwork, and I wanted to have something that tied the album artwork to the music, and I felt like that title was a perfect bridge for that. There's really no meaning behind it. I just honestly I love the way that it sounds, and I love the way that it complements the art and complements the music itself. And then the song titles are a hodgepodge of inside jokes, things that have happened in my life, and just random jumping off points. Sometimes when I write, I will name the song before I start the song. And it's just an interesting writing exercise. And Decades was one of those where I was just like, this song is called Decades. What does that sound like? And then I went from there. And another song like Sleep Whisper was I woke up in the middle of the night and I had an idea for this song. I whispered it into my phone, went back to sleep, like recorded it, and
Okay.
then I basically, you know, recompiled something out of that silly phone recording with my mouth, and got that song out of it. So Orchid was a flower that we got from a friend when we had our first child. So there's a lot of like little things just peppered in. It might not mean much to everyone else, but everything has like a little meaning to me.
Okay, okay. So, talking about the writing process, because when I try to do a different question, when you compose, when when you compose, what came first, the lyrics or the music? Because sometimes when you have a good lyric, you put the music then. But when you have the music first, then you will find you find the lyrics then. So for you, which is the process? One way to become in many ways, or one path to become in, well, in many paths.
Yeah, I definitely go music first, then lyrics. I really don't like writing lyrics. I have a hard time, and I don't like it in the fact that I still do it every album. But um I Decades is about me hating writing lyrics and
Mm.
just dreading it and other things I'd rather do. And but it's for this album, it was a lot of fun working on that because I approached it from different angles and I tried to make it more fun for myself. And I just feel like I'm bad at writing lyrics, and it all just comes from um, just me self-deprecating myself and not liking my own stuff. So um, just trying new things with eyes, and I'm really actually very proud of the lyrics on this album. And yeah, it's just wearing my heart on my sleeve and talking about the things that I think are important and that at the time might not be important to the listener, but it's important to me enough to put in a song,
Mhm. Okay,
or
okay.
menial. Or menial enough. Just like Orchid is about touring and just us being in a van and how we hate each other sometimes, and but it's also fun, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
there's a lot of just regular thoughts in there as well.
Okay, okay. Now, well, Radium Bloom is a your new album, but with this new album, you can see around the world into the into the digital platform, especially that there's came a lot of things now: singles, albums, EPs, songs, videos. Very difficult to get attention from the people now. Those days, these days, sorry. So, for you, what is the biggest strange the biggest strange has this Radium Bloom has compared to the all the stuff around the world? Because as I said, it's very difficult to get attention from people now.
Yeah, we so I kind of we had a conversation with our management, and they were just like, we need to kind of attack this on our, from a social media standpoint and do this and that. And I'm not the biggest social media fan, and I don't consume media through Twitch, and I don't really do that stuff. So I'm being brought out of my comfort zone on this one, and I understand that. It is a business as well, and we want our music to be heard, and we want to continue to tour. And basically, is I'll do whatever I need to do to tour and continue to write music and to have that platform. So competing with everyone else, like I'm not really taking it as like I'm competing, but more that I just we're taking it seriously from that standpoint and just trying to get our name out there because I do believe in music spreading via word of mouth still. Like that's how it's always been. I think that's always the most important, and that's how bands like us grow. Just from that standpoint, we're not going to break through some Twitch, stream thing, and I'm not a Twitch streamer, even though I've done it. It's not my thing. We're a band first, and I want our focus to be on the music, and hopefully the music is good enough and people enjoy it enough where we'll spread that way.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Now talking about other matters, as I said in the first question, so and related with the last, talking about the digital platforms, where now is the usual thing for the new generations to hear music with Spotify, iTunes, YouTube Music, etc., etc., etc. So,
Hmm.
but with this aspect, the new forms of hearing music is just hearing singles. Just not hear all albums, not EPs, just singles, and they love to do this the playlists around the world. And I also I
Yeah.
see I saw a lot of digital media like Decibel like Metal Hammer. They love to do the playlist for the followers, this kind of stuff. So for you, and talking about this matter, where the digital platforms is good or bad for the music, and why the albums doesn't have the same impact compared to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah, I'm I'm a consumer of physical media. Um, I still buy CDs, I still buy vinyl. Um, I listen to albums. I think, on the flip side of things, I think Spotify and digital platforms are amazing because you have this entire library of music at your fingertips, and like you could hear one song and just go down a whole rabbit hole of some new genre that you've never heard. So I think that it's like, you know, there's good and bad to the streaming platforms. I think having these playlists is a great tool to get bands exposure. I find bands all the time through playlists and like the discover part of my Spotify and just stuff like that. But also, I return to the other side and I will, if I find a record that I like on Spotify, I'll buy the vinyl and then I'll support the band that way because, you're not supporting anybody through a digital platform,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think it's a very useful tool for bands like us where we can get put on a playlist with Rammstein and Gojira and stuff like that. And it might not be for everyone, but there might be a couple people that are just like, this is really cool, and this is different. So I think it's a great stepping stool, for bands like us, and to get in there and get into like what you said is like you're fighting for, that sort of 5 seconds that somebody has, for
Yeah.
your music. So I think that's a great tool, and that's sort of why we have to roll out the record as we're doing this. Is
Mhm.
it's like glimpse into the music industry. You want to have that kind of single drop layout so that you can get on some of these playlists, and
Mm.
I find that interesting, from a business standpoint too, of like how to strategically do all this stuff, and I think that's fun. But on the other side of things, it's like, if it were up to me, I'd just put the record out and I'd be like, done.
Yeah.
But I understand that's not how the world works.
Okay, okay. Well, great, great. So you said one thing about the 3 seconds or 5 seconds when you start the song. So I read a lot of articles about the science told about the psychology aspects. Then they said that when a listener hear the 3 or 5 seconds, and the music catches, they love, they buy, they love, they do everything about with band. So do you feel like that when you feel a lot of sensations in 3 or 5 seconds or perhaps 10 seconds? Do you wanna buy something, or do you wanna buy the CD, the vinyl, etc.?
Yeah, well, it definitely has some sort of response. I found a band yesterday, and then like it came on, and then I'm looking at their website just to see like what they're about, So it definitely triggers like some sort of response, and it's very fascinating. And I have like a sort of rule with movies is if like if I'm not into it within 10 minutes, I'm not gonna get into this, just to just almost like being respectful of my own time type of thing. But like you said, there's a million things to watch and a million things to listen to. And like, am I going to play this game or am I going to listen to this record? Or am I, so there's so much to fight for. And it's interesting how a song can come on and you're instantly hooked,
Mm.
it's very rare is a song like the song's ending so good that you need to suffer
Yeah.
through like the first 5 minutes to get to that
Yeah.
to get to
Yeah.
that killer breakdown at the end or something.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, well, we're very close to end of this interview, Brett. And talking about returning to the Radiant Bloom, what are the future plans that the band has for this Radiant Bloom? Perhaps a European tour, perhaps a North American tour, and perhaps a Latin American tour. Who knows?
Yeah,
Movidos, etc., etc.
I would love to. We definitely have North America, planned. So we're hoping to announce some dates soon with that. And then once we kind of get it's been almost 3 years since we've been on the road. So, it'll be nice to get something done at home and then start to branch out. I would love to get down to Latin America. We've never been there. we've only been to Europe once, and we did it right in 2019 before everything shut down. So it was literally we got home from Europe in November, and then as soon as we were starting to get ready and go back, get ramped up in the spring, it was everything was shut down. So we got to get our road legs back, and we were a very well-oiled machine, and now we are very rusty, tired men. So we're looking forward to getting back to all that and expanding into new places that we've never been.
Okay, okay. Well, Brett, the sad times arrived at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one as I did. And thank you very much for your time. This new Radiant Balloon is amazing. A great work. Congratulations for that. And perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metallarium followers?
No, thank you for having me, and I hope that everyone enjoys this record as much as we did making it, and that they find something that either helps them or uh, just enjoy. So just thank you, and hopefully we'll be down there soon, and we can play these for you.